Everybody knows, everybody. Okay, everybody ready? Could I get, guys? First of all, thank you all for being here again. Give you just a little briefing, and then I'm going to step out of the way. As of this morning, we had, around noon, we had a little over approximately 44,900 still without power. That fluctuates a little bit because sometimes they'll take a line off just to do some repairs, turn it back on, so that number will go up and down a little bit. One thing I want to mention, it's been asked, our waterways are still closed. Our waterways are still closed. That's important to get out. Please, press, get that out, because what's happened, the waterways have begun to recede and they're going down. People are wanting to get out and go check on their camps, and we know that. The issue is all the debris that has now been blown into it or washed into it or flooded into it because of the storm. Things that we've cleaned are now full of debris again, and we just don't want anybody out there getting hurt that may not be aware, and all they see is that the water has gone down. Our curfew, I talked about this yesterday. Our curfew is 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. We don't need anybody on the roads after 12 o'clock. Just shouldn't be on the roads after 12. This clears the roadways for our first responders, emergency personnel that may have an emergency that they have to respond to. The sheriff has made it clear he's going to have a zero tolerance on that, and I appreciate that and support him in that. But I did move the curfew numbers from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. That allows our restaurants in the areas where power's up, our gas stations, people getting off work, people going to and from work. We understand. We know you're going to be doing that. The sheriff's office will use their discretion when they stop you. If you're dealing with mama or grandma, they're going to work with you. But if you're going to get cigarettes, going to get something to drink, doing these kind of things, you're going to my jail. It's just that simple. So please, 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. on the curfew. Generator safety. I mentioned this yesterday. I want to mention it again. We've gotten numerous calls. Please make sure that exhaust on these little generators is blowing out and nowhere near a window. And now I'm learning from the governor, actually, that even your home generators can create issues. So make sure you monitor that, watch it. These small generators from like Stein's, Home Depot, Lowe's, and those kind of generators are great little generators, but they're not designed to run 24 hours a day. And if you start trying to run a heavy load on them, you could cause them some issues with that. And be sure and change the oil in those things regularly, because they will stop running on you. We know, again, it's going to take time to get the power up in some areas because there's still water. We understand. So we're asking for patience. One thing my dad taught me long time ago is it is a team effort, teamwork. So we're all in this together. One of the biggest team players we have is obviously our governor, Governor John Bell Edwards. He has always supported Livingston Parish in these disasters. I appreciate it. I know the people in the parish appreciate it. We could not do it without him. We need his help, and he is here along with a lot of folks from the federal and state level to help us, and we appreciate that, Governor. I'm going to turn it over to you now, sir.
Thank you, lady. Thank you, Mr. President, and I appreciate you hosting us here this afternoon for a meeting so we can sort of compare notes and figure out what we can do better for you all here in Livingston Parish. I want to thank the Lieutenant Governor for being with us, and Billy, I appreciate the partnership. And appreciate the sheriff as well, working through all these issues. There's a lot of information today. We have a lot of updates, and so I'm just warning you in advance. And I want to thank all of you for taking up the full space on this podium. Yesterday, that's okay. Yesterday, as you all know, the president came to Louisiana. He spent about 7.5 hours on the ground, and I was with him throughout that, and he was able to talk to many local leaders and residents. He was able to get on the ground in multiple parishes and see the devastation firsthand, and that always makes a difference, especially when you're making the multitude of significant requests that we are making for assistance from the federal government. And I do want to thank him and all of our federal partners for the assistance they've already rendered. He signed a pre-landfall declaration upon my request that got personnel, assets, commodities moving to Louisiana well ahead of the storm. He signed the major disaster declaration upon my request that allowed us to have 100% federal reimbursement for debris removal and for emergency protective measures for the first 30 days. It turned on individual assistance. We're going to talk about that. It turned on public assistance. And we just had a good conversation with Livingston Parish officials about these things. There, as I mentioned, individual assistance is available. Please register if you are an IDA survivor and you've not yet done so. You can do that by going to disasterassistance.gov, or you can call 800-621-362. Now, thus far in Louisiana, 337,000 families are registered, and those families have already been approved for, and many have already received $165 million. Here in here in Livingston Parish, it's 7,000 registrants. So that's 7,000 families have already registered, and I think it's $1.5 million for those individuals. Now, anytime you have a disaster and anytime you have relief programs, you're going to have people who are out there who are not good neighbors, and they're going to come in and try to take advantage of the situation with a scam and fraud. FEMA representatives always have a badge that identifies themselves. They are never going to ask you for money. So understand that. If you have any question about who you're dealing with, whether it's with respect to FEMA or somebody who's a contractor or whatever, you take pictures of them, their automobile, and their license plate. Because if they're trying to scam you, chances are they're going to leave you alone when you do that. If you doubt a FEMA representative is legitimate, don't visit with them. Hang up on them if they call you, and call FEMA at the same number to report the incident. That's 800-621-3362. Earlier this week, we announced that the Army Corps of Engineers has activated the Blue Roof program. Already 33,000 people have registered for this service. It is free to homeowners in the following parishes: Ascension, Jefferson, Lafourche, Livingston, Orleans, Plaquemines, St. Bernard, St. Charles, St. James, St. John the Baptist, St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, Terrebonne, and just added St. Helena Parish as well. We have additional parishes that are being assessed. Again, this service is free to homeowners. Now, it has to make your home habitable, so if your home is destroyed to the point where a blue roof doesn't allow you to live in it, you're not going to qualify. But if you have any questions about whether you qualify, we want you to call. And you can call toll-free 1-888-ROOF-BLUE. There is no E on the end of that, so it's 1-888-ROOF-BLU. And that is 888-766-3258. I'm going to encourage everybody who has roof damage to make that call because I saw last year after Hurricane Laura, this same program delivered 13,000 or 14,000 roofs in southwest Louisiana. The homeowners who took advantage of this program had blue roofs installed professionally that actually withstood Hurricane Delta. Those who did it themselves, those tarps were blown off early in that storm, and then they did not have that protection, and they actually suffered more damage than they otherwise would have. And it doesn't take a hurricane to do that. As you know, it rains here quite frequently, so please avail yourself of this program. Disaster unemployment assistance has been turned on for the 25 parishes that were part of the major disaster declaration granted by the President. The best way for people to file their disaster unemployment assistance application is online by visiting www.laworks.net and using the LWC Hire portal. Typically in Louisiana, unemployment claims come with what we call a week of waiting. I want you to know that has been waived. There will be no week of waiting when you complete one of these claims and you are eligible. We want people to get their benefits as soon as possible. I'm extremely grateful to President Biden and FEMA, and I was able to tell the President this yesterday, for activating, upon my request, the Transitional Sheltering Assistance Program, which will bring much-needed relief to people from Southeast Louisiana who need temporary housing. It's eligible for survivors with a damaged dwelling address within the federally designated parishes. And I'm going to give you these lists of parishes again, because these are slightly different than the Blue Roof. These are Ascension, Assumption, East Baton Rouge, East Feliciana, Iberia, Iberville, Jefferson, Lafourche, Livingston, Orleans, Plaquemines, Pointe-Coupee, St. Bernard, St. Charles, St. Helena, St. James, St. John the Baptist, St. Martin, St. Mary, St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, Terrebonne, Washington, West Baton Rouge, and West Feliciana. Now, these individuals are eligible to stay in hotel rooms. And there are 10 states, including Louisiana, where you can go to in order to take advantage of this program in a hotel. The other states are Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Florida, Mississippi, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Texas. Now, under this program, you have to book your own rooms at the participating hotels. Those hotels are listed on disasterassistance.gov under the Transitional Sheltering Assistance Program. Or you can call the FEMA hotline. And that FEMA hotline never changes, by the way. It's always 1-800-621-3362. For TTY, you call 800-462-7585. And for 711 or video relay services, call 800-621-3362. For the National Guard, I want you to know that the entirety of the Louisiana National Guard was activated in advance of the storm coming ashore. And now we have combined forces with National Guard soldiers and airmen from other states through the EMAC request process. And we have some active duty Title X soldiers who are in support of current operations in Southeast Louisiana. So of that number, we've received 2,501 EMAC guardsmen from 10 states, and I want to pause to thank those states, and particularly those governors, because we sent the request out. They were very quick and generous in their response. And those 10 states are Florida, Mississippi, Missouri, Kansas, Texas, Tennessee, Oklahoma, North Carolina, Arkansas, and Georgia. And they have been and will continue to be integrated into all of our operations here in Louisiana. And those operations include 43 points of distribution and 3 hubs across 16 parishes. There were 6 pods that opened for the first time today. We have more pods that will be coming online tomorrow. Through the end of the day yesterday, more than 1.8 million meals had been distributed by the National Guard, right at 95,000 tarps, 2.1 million liters of water, 250,000 sandbags, and about 275,000 bags of ice. Electricity is one of the biggest challenges that we have across Southeast Louisiana. We know that, and depending on the damage to the infrastructure, the transmission lines, the distribution lines, as well as the generation capabilities, there's not an even rate of restoration going on, and that's always going to be the case. You know, I'm always happy to see people getting powered up, and some people are going to be quite a while. But we can report that as of noon today, we're down to 718,559 customers. That means homes and businesses. That's a lot more than 718,000 people who are still without power. But that's down from 1.1 million at the peak. And so we're thankful for that. And we are looking forward to having power restored to as many people as possible, as soon as possible. President Ricks mentioned this a while ago, generator safety. I'm going to talk about confirmed deaths in just a moment, but I want to remind people that in storms like this, typically it isn't the direct impact of the storm that kills the most people. It's post-storm activities. And one of those has to do with the use of generators. If you've got a generator that you're using, please at least 20 garage, certainly not in the house with you, but really not even under a window or a door or a vent. This is tasteless, it is odorless, and you don't know it's happening until it's too late. And really sad, what happens a lot of times is people turn a generator on in order to get cool enough to go to sleep. A family will go to sleep. And then they also that there have been some incidents where professionally installed home generators, those that are there year-round, are operating too close to the house, particularly too close to a window or a vent, and they've caused some people to be sick too. So please, just because it's not a portable generator, make sure that you are being safe with your generators. Very sadly, we are reporting 12 storm-related deaths at this point. It does include 4 deaths related to carbon monoxide poisoning from generators. As of 7:30 this morning, there were 61 weather-related closures, but as of a few minutes ago, there are 60. So we are making progress. They're working extremely hard. And I do want to thank the DOTD crewmen who've been working so hard to get debris off roadways, and that's happening at the local level. The National Guard is particularly with their engineering units or have done a lot of route clearance as well. But we still have issues around the state with debris. And sometimes a roadway is open, but the shoulder may have debris on it. So please slow down, be very careful, be patient, and always check 511la.org before you leave your home so you know whether it's safe to go where you're trying to get to and whether you need to have a different route to get you there. The report I got this morning at the UCG meeting is that we have 3,246 individuals in shelters across the state, and there are 28 shelters in operation. If you have been staying at home and you realize that that's just not tenable, the home is damaged too much, you don't have electricity yet, you don't have water, some combination of that, and you want to get to a shelter, please call 211, or you can text LA Shelter to 898-211, and we will make sheltering available. For disaster food assistance, the DSNAP request is in process.